Okay, connection available. Woohoo! How does it get any better? Hi world, this is Rachel Silber. Wow, and I'm doing not an exact translation, but sort of inspired by a video that I just made a couple of days ago in Spanish. There've been so many different things going on in the world. So many different things that could make you say, you know what? The world's going to hell in a handbasket. There are so many places and spaces where people hate. There are so many things that are going on that we could buy as true and real for us, but we don't have to. And that's what I'd like to speak with you about. So, para los que hablan en español, esto será una conversación en inglés similar a lo que hizo del mar hacía un par de días. Pueden verlo ahí, y si no, disfruta el inglés, ¿ok? Hola, hola, hola. So this is the story of a tree. And why a tree? Okay, so getting personal here with my background. Somewhere along the way, I was born and grew up a happy little kid, had everything my parents could provide, was happy-go-lucky in many, many ways, and at some point, I began to be more and more and more depressed. Thank you, school bus. I was depressed. I was my depression. Well, I didn't realize at that point in time that I was actually extremely aware and extremely capable of taking things out of other people's environments, out of other people's bodies, out of other people's lives, and sort of holding on to it or transmuting it in me. But those are capacities I learned about later. At the time, as a teenager, I had no freaking clue. All I knew was that everything sucked, and everything sucked outside of me. And somehow it must have been my fault, right? So interestingly, I didn't have these tools until much later, but I was given Wellbutrin and Prozac and Zoloft and you name it. I was even diagnosed as being bipolar, and given lithium injections on a weekly basis. Not the most fun on the planet, but I still thought that there was something wrong with me because I felt all of these things. I could feel extreme sadness. I could feel pain. I could feel frustration. I could feel all this anger. And by golly gee willikers, if it was in me, it's got to be mine, right? Well, fast forward, 20 some odd years. Yeah, I guess 20 some odd years, whatever the math is. And I find the tools of access consciousness. And I found the tools actually first on a teleseminar, and started finding out everything that I could find out and got my ass as quickly as possible to a bars class. And from there, I chose more and more and more and more and more. And I was like, wow, so there wasn't anything wrong with me. I wasn't as fucked up as I thought I was. Oh my goodness. Did I say that out loud? I did, but that's okay. How does it get any better? So these tools that I found first in a bars class and then much more of in a foundation class and several back-to-back practically foundation classes and what's now called the Choice of Possibilities class, and at that time was a level 2-3. I found me, okay? And in the finding me, I got these basic phenomenal tools to just be and have the space of allowance for me. So I found out that I'm an infinite being. Not a walking pile of poo, not a Mr. Fix-It project, not there's something wrong with you, your house is collapsing, metaphorically speaking, and we've got to just haul you out. You've got to stay plugged into that self-help section, in the library or in the bookstore and fix yourself, damn it, until you get yourself right and fix everything that's been going on in your past. Then there's no hope for your future, right? And that's what I thought. But come to enjoy these tools from Access Consciousness, where choice creates and we can recreate anything and everything that we be in every 10 seconds. So the first thing I found out is this phenomenal tool called Who Does This Belong To? Because, hey, another tool that I found out is that I'm an infinite being, not a walking pile of poo. So if I'm an infinite being, right? Infinite, like, wow, everything, connected to everything, receiving from everything, being with everything, perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. There ain't nothing wrong with me, and not with any one of us. But in the world of fix it and fix you and medicate you and tell you all the stuff that's wrong with you, we keep looking at ourselves as something less than the magic and the phenomenons and the infiniteness that we truly be. It's actually really cool. I just hosted a friend of mine from Israel a couple of weeks ago for some classes here in Guatemala. Hi, matey! And she came from Israel, so damn it, her Hebrew was a hell of a lot better than mine. She gave me some lessons on access speak in Hebrew. And she said, all this stuff that I keep saying, this energy, space, and consciousness, she says, it's truth in Hebrew. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, emet, emet. Emet is truth. So when we say in access truth, before we make a statement, universal truth is either whatever is true is going to come out, or you're going to know somebody's lying. So it's really funny when we say truth. It's Aleph, energia, energy. Mem, merchav, space. And toda'ah, taf, is for consciousness. So it's the truth of who we be, is energy, space, and consciousness. And there's no depression or emotions or feelings or being a fix-it project or anything like that. There's no disminución. My Spanish is coming in. There's no making yourself tiny and miserable and finite and like that when you're being an infinite being. So the first thing I got, whoa, I'm an infinite being. Second thing I got is I may be just like a tiny bit more aware than I've ever realized. And if I'm that aware, wow, whose stuff am I picking up on? All this stuff that I've been diagnosed as, that I've been labeled as, that I've been taking on and making mine, what if that's not so? So we've got an awesome tool in Access, which is called Who Does This Belong To? Is this mine, someone else's, or something else's? 99% of our stuff isn't even ours. We're so busy making ourselves succeed, right? In the air commas. Imagine the other side, but I'm holding the phone up. So we force ourselves to succeed based on somebody else's rules and regulations, somebody else's points of view, somebody else's stories about what's considered valuable or not. And is that really true for us? Generally, not really. And yet we bend ourselves and fold ourselves and really contort and struggle and suffer just to please somebody else's point of view, just because we bought that story as real and true. And if it isn't, what are we going through all that effort for? So that's another aspect that I found out. And then I was told, an infinite being perceives, knows, bees, and receives. Feelings and emotions and even thoughts are not there. That's up to a finite being, right? Those are lower harmonics of our actual capacities. So then, I wanted to know more about that perceiving versus feeling everything, because I felt sad, I felt miserable, I felt like a failure, I felt like a fix-it project. So what do you mean perceiving? So I found this story, and I do believe this came from the book Pragmatic Psychology, which is an awesome fucking book for anybody who hasn't read it yet, by my friend Susanna Mittermeier. Pragmatic Psychology, Divorceless Relationships by Gary Douglas, and Being You, Changing the World by Dr. Dane here are so awesome. And they will take you through so much stuff. Those are brilliant, brilliant, brilliant books. There are others that I love as well. Those are like, wow. They make everything really simple, really clear, and lots of ease in getting the information. And in this book called Pragmatic Psychology, Susanna Mittermeier explained the infinite being kind of like a tree. So here we are surrounded by trees. We got trees, we got trees. Hello, tree. So the tree has no point of view about being anything other than a tree. See, we do. We tend to overthink, overanalyze, overcognitize, and get ourselves in this mental trap of all these thoughts and feelings and emotions and everything that keeps churning and churning and churning. And by the way, anybody who's not had their bars run yet, that's probably one of the single best recommendations that I have. Anytime there's so much turmoil going on in your world, having someone touch 32 points in your head, just a gentle touch, and be there with you in allowance of you, and activating these points where you have all this mind chatter going, allows you to just have space. The monkey mind kind of dissipates and you have space of relaxation, space of being, space to see this isn't necessarily me that's going on over there. So okay, back to our tree. So trees are just trees. You know, they're happy being trees, and they're not busy over analyzing. Did somebody like my leaves today? Or all those birds, they just flew past me and they've ignored me, and what does that mean about me as a tree? No, they don't have all those points of view like we people do. They're just happy being trees, right? So imagine there's a tree. Woohoo! I'm a tree, I'm a happy tree, and there's the tree. And it's a sunny day, and the sun is shining, and it is beaming. It is the middle of the summer, and the tree doesn't say, wow, you know, oh, I'm burning up, I'm hot, I'm hot. No, no, no. The tree recognizes it is not the sun. It's just there in the sunshine, enjoying the sunshine, being there with the sunshine, whatever it is, no point of view, and it's just there, being a tree, enjoying being a tree. Does not get confused about which is the sun, or which is the sunshine, and which is the tree. Just happy being a tree. Okay? Clouds come past and cover up that sun. Maybe light, fluffy clouds at first. So there's a little less sun. But that doesn't mean that the tree is any less. No, the tree's still the tree. There may be a little less sun out there, but that doesn't mean anything about the tree. Just happy to be there. Happy tree, I'm a happy tree. Hola, hola. I'm a happy tree. I'm there in the middle of my street, forest, block, you know, wherever, and I'm just enjoying being a tree. So, bigger clouds, stormy clouds, gray clouds, and it is now dark. But the tree doesn't get confused. It's not the darkness. It's not the clouds. It's not the sunshine either. It knows it's a happy tree. And there can be raindrops, maybe tiny little raindrops at first, that just kind of fall from the sky, a little light drizzle. And sure, the tree gets wet. Sure, the little raindrops glisten on the leaves. For sure. It's there. I mean, it's part of the world. It's there, raining. The tree can enjoy the rain, can be there in the rain, but does not get confused. Those raindrops, those are not part of the tree. They're on it. They're there. They're outside of the tree. The tree recognizes that it is a tree. It is not those raindrops. It is not those clouds. It is not that sunshine. It isn't the stars in the sky or anything like that. And there could be huge, huge drops of rain. It could be storming. It could be storming and lightning and thundering and wind blowing, the tree moving from side to side. But the tree recognizes, I'm a tree. Woohoo! I'm the tree. It knows it isn't all those outside circumstances. It is not the raindrops. It is not the lightning. It is not the thunder. It is not anything that's outside of it. Not the wind, not the raindrops, not the snow or sleet or hail or anything else. It's the tree. And even if some birdies in the neighborhood come flying by and come and sit on the branches, and the tree's like, hey, I'm here. I'm a happy tree. I'm here. Come join me. And if they shit all over it, if they poo all over it, if they, I don't know, don't clean up their little nest house afterwards, doesn't matter. The tree knows it's a tree. It recognizes it's a tree. Its branches are open. Its leaves are there, rustling and ready. Sometimes its leaves even drop, but it's still a tree. It is not any of those things that are happening on the outside. It recognizes that it is a tree. Now, somewhere along the way, in our high and mighty sense of peopleness, we've imagined ourselves to be more than that tree. And we've somehow misidentified and misapplied this concept of just because I feel it means that it's got something to do with me. Or what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? What if the truth of you, that energy, space, and consciousness of who you are, includes your awareness of everything, which you can use as information about where other people are functioning from, what's going on in the world. But you don't have to buy it as true of you. It isn't you. You're like that tree. Just the tree, right? And everything is there. You can perceive it. You know it. And you have that space, because you recognize it's not you, to choose, okay, well, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be now that's going to change this situation? Or that can bring more ease in this situation? Or can create something entirely different in this situation? See, the minute we put on, a fighting cap, lock those horns up or whatever, and, oh, me against the world, well, then we're just solidifying whatever it is that we've heard or listened to or witnessed or perceived. We're making it true and real. See, there's 4 different ways that we can make something true and real in our lives. Hi, Mr. Motorcyclist. So we can either align with something, we can agree with something, we can resist something, or we can react to it. Right? Those are the ways that we buy whatever it is as real and true. So if I say, oh, I feel depressed, for example, then I'm making it mine. I have taken what I've perceived on the outside. I've taken it, I brought it in, and I locked it inside. And now, you know what? It's mine. I bought it. I brought it in from the store. I put a ribbon on it. and I've held it onto it, like a cherished possession, and now it's mine. I've possessed whatever this is. But it doesn't have to be like that. See, the minute we recognize that we perceive something rather than be whatever that something is, then we have choice. And we can go, wow, I know this sounds odd because we don't usually say this. We could say, I perceive sadness. I perceive tiredness. I perceive misery around me. I perceive, oh my goodness, a heck of a lot of anger. But it doesn't mean that I am that, just because I can perceive it. So that space, and that space can come from awareness, can come from when you have your bars run, can come in different ways. But that space is that space of you choosing what it is that you'd like to create, what it is that you'd like to respond. It's not a reaction, it's a response. Now what can you be and do different to change this? It may very well be to just walk away. It may be to be the energy of, you know what? No more of whatever this is. But you're never a victim. You're always the chooser of your life, of your reality, of everything that's around you. Because it's how you choose to respond rather than react that creates the future that you'd like to have right now, by being with you and being aware of everything when you're present. And you're no longer the victim. And you know what? If somebody had told me that when I was, my teens and early 20s, are you kidding me? I was victim numero uno. I could wear the #1 victim t-shirt or charm, or whatever. So I didn't recognize that I had the potency, I had the capacity, I had the energy, space, and the consciousness to choose what is going to work for me. I did not recognize that I was an infinite being. So we had, I think all around the world, September is Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. And in Access for the last, 3 years maybe, perhaps more, We've offered free bars clinics all over the world. Different people that are involved in Access. They've offered bars classes. They've offered, all sorts of tools and all sorts of things available for people to know that there's a different choice available. And whatever it is that people choose to do, it's their choice. Okay? So it's not about saying someone is wrong for choosing anything. Whatever they choose is what worked for them at that point. You're never your past, and you can always choose again. So just my little tidbit, that there's always, 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 always just another step and another choice available. And whatever you've chosen up to now has worked for you up to now. And it's brought you right here, maybe even to seeing this video. And then from that point on, what could you add to your life? What could you choose? It may be something tiny, but that 1% of difference, that 1% of change can create a huge trajectory of difference in the future if you're willing to have it. You are never, ever, whatever it was that had happened before. Well, nothing really happens. We choose it in one way or another. But you are not your past. You are exactly what you are choosing right now. And the more joy and the more ease and the more adventure and curiosity you're willing to have in your life, it is amazing what can change and what can open up. Now, I'm just one little person on the planet who played with these tools and experienced, holy moly, my life is entirely different. I smile a whole heck of a whole lot more than I ever did before. I am not Miss Victim of the Universe. I am the creatress of my life. I'm a contribution to lots of different people, even supermarket clerks as I check out, people who connect with me on social media, just people who surround me day in, day out. To me, success is that choice that I've made. I've changed my life. And in changing my life, who knows? Maybe I've changed somebody else's as well. I just know that I get to have a whole lot more fun. And my job now is the joy of being. And that's the invitation that I have to each of you. Find it. It may not be through Access. It may be whatever tools you'd like to use. Just know there's always, always, always another choice. Mwah. Arrivederci.